There was a psychologist, and he was doing a group therapy session with 4 mothers. Each mother had a small child with her. He says to the group, "You're all obsessed, and it shows up in your children's names." He points to the first mother and he says, "You are obsessed with shopping. You went so far as to name your daughter Penny." And at this point, the other mothers kind of rustled in their seats nervously. And he points to the second mother and he says, "And you are obsessed with eating. It shows up in your daughter's name. You named your daughter Candy." So he points to the third mother and he says, "And you are obsessed with drinking. You named your daughter Brandy." At this point, the fourth mother grabs her son by the arm and says, "Come on, Dick, we're getting out of here." Now, by the way, there's nothing dirty in that joke, but thinking makes it so. Because I didn't mention if that's sex. She's addicted to sex. If that's done within or without a marriage, so that's all in your mind. So now what I need you to do is watch this again, see if you notice anything unusual. Same video, but this is also what emotions do to us. When you're in a negative emotional state, fear, anger, sadness, let's say, it narrows your attention to a point, and you miss some things that are very obvious, things that otherwise you would pick up. When you're in a positive emotional state, joy, awe, curiosity, hope, it broadens and builds. So it opens up your awareness. It makes you more aware of things around you. It makes you more creative. It makes you more innovative. It makes you more resilient. It gives you more hope. So that's a little bit of what I'm going to talk about today. Oh, yeah. A little bit about myself. I've got 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. I've got a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I like to tell stories about my kids because they make me laugh. We were at church, this was a couple years ago, and both of my sons are towheads. They're blonde. They've got very white hair. And one in particular has a lot of white curly hair. And I went to the room to pick up my son, who was at the time, I think, 4. And I was talking with a mother in there, and I was telling her that I had, 4 children and another son. And then we're sitting by a window. So I'm with my youngest son, who is 4, this other mother that I just met. And my oldest son comes running up to the window and goes, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" And he was with a friend, and she goes, she goes, "Is that your son?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Which one's yours?" And my youngest son, who's 4, well, I said, "It's a towhead, the one with blonde hair." And my youngest son said, "Better a towhead than a butthead." And I thought, and, I don't know where he got that word, but it's just not a good first impression to leave when you're at church, So in terms of reaching your potential, what I found, I grew up in a thinking family where academic achievement was the highest value, the highest I could hope to achieve was to get straight A's, valedictorian, go to UC Berkeley. It was all about thinking. So I went to UC Berkeley, I got a Ph.D. in psychology, became a school psychologist, worked in Fremont for a while. And what I found that the best part of my job was working with the students. However, they had very serious issues, and they would come and sort of share these issues with me. And what I found is that I would take these emotions, their emotions in, because we know that emotions are contagious to an extent, and I didn't have any way to get rid of them. So I was weighed down by their fear, their anger, their sadness, and eventually it led to a depression. It led to my lower back going out. It led to a number of problems. And I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. I'm a psychologist. I went to Cal. If I can't deal with my emotions, who can? And so I spent the next 7 to 10 years researching emotion. And what are the best, the most scientifically proven methods and tools that we have to manage things like fear, anger, sadness, but not only to manage and mitigate the negative side of things, but also what about the positive side of things? How do we cultivate more positive emotions? What are the positive emotions? Why do we need them? Why do they exist in an evolutionary perspective? So what I've found over the years is that if you want to create the most powerful you can create, if you want the most powerful mind that you can create, it's a balance between that thinking, rational side of your mind and that feeling, emotional side of your mind. And what I've found is that we're all quite good at the thinking side of things. We're excellent thinkers. We can rationalize anything. Where we have trouble is on the feeling side of things.